Thank you. We'll call the June 17, 2024 meeting of Greenwood Board of Public Works and Safety to order at 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please, Amanda.
Mr. Rutherford.
Here.
Mr. Hoover.
Here.
Mr. Kaufman.
Here.
Thank you.
Minutes of our last session of June 3 have been distributed to members of the board. Any corrections, additions, or deletions from staff? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval as presented?
So moved. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. First on our agenda tonight is Mr. Singh of the Sikh Day Parade.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Balwinder Singh. I request for our celebration, the parade going on in the community. Some represent Sikh Gurdwara in Greenwood. So we request for temporary road closure and also from noise waivers. It's presented ordinance.
Oh, okay. Let's do the first one, do the parade, the temporary road closure first. Mr. Hayden, what do you got on this for us?
Actually, Officer Grable's already been working on that, Mr. Singh. They've done this in the past. They're not gonna do a permanent road closure. They're gonna do a rolling one, so they'll close it for the parade and then follow behind them. So it's not gonna actually be a full closure of the entire event, just long enough to get the parade through.
Okay. We'll just do that first. Any questions, either gentleman on this one? Not, is there a motion to approve the rolling temporary road closure?
I'll move for approval. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And then request for a waiver from noise ordinance. Ty, what's the,
It's just basically, since it's sort of a moving festival, just in case any neighbors that are not part of the Sikh community might take issue with the parade, just request that just to make sure all bases are covered.
these are separate dates though, right?
No, this is,
Looked like the road closure is September 7th,
And the other is July.
July 27th.
So we got about something going to say, yes. Because there going to be a music component.
there's the noise ordinance is for the parade. Yes, yeah, that is for the date of the parade, I think.
Okay,
It may have been confusion on the
There's-
event
there's a-
notice we got
Yeah, we could do
put on
Okay.
the
There's
agenda.
there's another event coming up after this that's specifically just noise ordinance variance.
and what times are we talking about?
Talking about from noon to 5.
I've heard Balwinder sing before and, you know, it's a little loud, so yeah, I think that's it, right?
We have done before the fair, like many years.
Is there a motion to approve this request?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Okay, okay.
Mr. Petty?
I think there
There
might be
is
some-
another
there's
one.
another request.
There is another.
There was
change.
confusion on the noise request, there were two.
Oh,
The parade also had a noise waiver.
Oh,
with
okay.
it, and now
So
there
for the
is a
festival.
okay, so now we need to vote on the
Yes.
festival.
separate-
Okay.
Which I think is, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Good evening.
Good evening. We're having this event called Liana. It's basically for women and children, just to like, it's a religion, not a religion, it's a cultural thing. It's for them to like spend time together, have fun, and it's taking place on July 27th at one of the host house, like at the property, and we just need a waiver for a noise waiver permit. And it's taking place
It is 1 PM to 6 PM.
Yeah, what does that require, a noise waiver?
just for the people.
Amplified.
Oh, it's amplified.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Okay. Is there further questions? If not, is there a motion for approval?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Thank you. Have fun. Now, Mr. Petty, I'm sorry.
All right.
That explains the different dates.
There you go, yeah.
Here I request approval to purchase 2024 Suzuki NPR HD flatbed truck for the street department. Truck with it, amount is $66,247.64. Requesting to be able to pay for this using the Huntington lease. We're requesting that approval that be $75,000 even to accommodate additional equipment to go on the truck modifications, because this will carry the paint machine.
Great, everything's good on that? Okay. Questions for?
Are we reusing the equipment that we currently
We're,
have?
we're replacing the truck, we're using the equipment. So the truck is a 1995. The equipment has been replaced, I think about 10 years ago. It's still in good working condition, so. But the truck is, its useful life is pretty much done for us.
Questions for Mr. Pettit
Move for approval of the request,
for the full 75,000?
or yes, up to 75,000.
Further discussion? Very good, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Let's see, Donna Smithers.
She's on.
Donna, are you online with us?
I am. How are you all?
Good to hear your voice. Library Park Professional Center, tell us what we're doing here.
So we are here tonight asking for acceptance of our performance guarantees and acceptance of and execution of the inspection and testing agreement for this site. This is Library Park Professional Center. It's right there just east of the Hertz rental on Smith Valley Road and just east of 135. They are doing a parking expansion. So we're looking at here, this is part of our, process to get the site going. So we're here to request that approval. I think it might be a conditional approval at this time because I know that there was a bond that was incorrect and it was resubmitted on Friday. So.
Well, if it was, we didn't get told about it.
Okay.
I think it's been reviewed and everything's acceptable.
Okay. Take that gift, Donna. Is there any questions from Ms. Smithers?
I move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, Donna.
Thank you. Take care.
Mr. Heckler online as well. Joe?
Correct, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Ridge Top Section 1. What's going on?
Right, yeah, just seeking acceptance and execution of the inspection and test agreements for the general inspection and for the sanitary sewer inspection for Ridgetop 1. One of the, like Donna has, one of the last steps to get the approval done.
We're accepting 50% of the fee, just like the last one. Unconditional.
Yes.
Approval. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Further discussion? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we're going to talk to Kimley Horn about the Greenwood Village South April Drive connection. Mike Timko and Nathan Barr. Hey,
Good evening.
nice to have somebody in person.
Absolutely. My name's Mike Timko. I'm a civil engineer for Kimley Horn here on behalf of Greenwood Village South. We are requesting recommendation to Common Council for vacation of a portion of an existing drainage easement that exists. This is on the south side of Greenwood Village South's existing campus, just east of Lockhart Cadillac dealership. We're requesting for that to be vacated so that we can actually relocate the pond so that a new connection from Greenwood Village South can be made to April Drive. And so there would then be a new proposed plat that would then put back in place a drainage easement over top of the new pond location.
Road, then an access
That's right. So yeah, so from the existing south side of Greenwood Village South Campus, basically along the shared property line between the Lockhart Cadillac, it would come down to about where it dead ends today, where April Drive dead ends.
That'd be good.
Be much safer to get that to the light.
Which one?
If you want to recommend approval or if you want to recommend against, there are two options. And then there's a memorandum that goes to the common council. The process is under our ordinance, if you're vacating a platted easement, you do it like a platted right or a right of way. And a petition has to be filed in triplicate. One is sent to the common council, one is sent to the plan commission, one is sent to the board of works and safety. The plan commission and board of public works and safety are to review it and give a recommendation to the common council, either recommending that it be vacated as requested or to deny the request. There are standards in the statute that there are certain things that if an aggrieved person files, that they, certain findings that what we'll look at, so the determination is made that those are met. You should have received a copy of the Plan Commission memorandum. They did act on this at their meeting earlier last week, and they have proposed conditions for it.
If you want to, I'll read that. Okay. She wants to read it into the record.
Okay, I'll move for approval of the conditions that are going to be read by our chair.
So see if this confirms that. The board hereby recommends the vacation of the platted variable width drainage and utility easement Saturn Park Block C be vacated as requested, subject to meeting the following conditions. Prior to construction of a new detention facility, a replat of Block C of Saturn Park will be recorded with the following note. The easement, drainage and utility easement for instrument number 920157774 as shown in Greenwood Common Council Ordinance number 24-17, where the existing detention facility shall be vacated and nullified upon the successful completion and operational status of a new detention facility as verified by the city engineer and reporting of the vacation ordinance. The petitioner must also plat the new detention easement on the replat of Block C of Saturn Park, and also prior to the recording of the vacation ordinance, the petitioner must complete the construction of the new detention facility and ensure its functionality. The new detention facility must be fully operational. Only after the new detention facility is confirmed to be operational by the city engineer and all related documentation is submitted, may the vacation ordinance be recorded, and we are authorizing the mayor to sign the memorandum to the common council setting forth this recommendation on the board's behalf. For a second.
I'll second that.
Further discussion.
Yeah, can you read it one more time?
We'll get you to this, Mike. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thanks. See you later. Now we're gonna go to Doug Redmond, Meridian Design Build for Project Barbecue.
So I'm just here to request early morning concrete pours, basically from today till October 1st. It's not going to be every day, 2 to 3 days a week. Earliest would be 4 a.m. is what we're looking to start.
I know well, tell me again, where is it?
It's the FedEx freight on Collins and Holland Road.
Questions? For Doug? It's not a residential area. They're gonna be hearing use there.
There is a
To the
residential
north.
area across the street, across Collins Road.
But there's a
There's a
berm.
fair amount of berming in
There's a
place
berm with
already.
pretty good sized trees there that block a lot of the university park.
What are the dates again? How long?
Pretty much now until October 1st. It's just hard to say with weather and heat and stuff. I mean, it's not gonna be consistent every single day. It'll be, sometimes might just be 1 day a week or might not be at all. It's just hard to schedule, especially with the other big concrete projects going on. It just depends on when the plants can service us as well.
Other questions?
I move that we approve the request.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thanks. The Wilkerson Meadows at Bellevue, Section 2.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
So we are, Meadows of Bellevue Section 2 is actually, the project is in unincorporated Johnson County, but the city of Greenwood sanitary sewer serve the site. So we have finished all testing. We're just here to, we posted a performance guarantee, and we're here to request release of that and acceptance of the maintenance guarantee and acceptance of the system. There are, as of this morning, I think the memo you guys would have gotten showed there were 2 conditions. The first of which we met earlier about noon. I was able to get the fees paid online, and we got receipt of that. I believe Paul knows. And then the second, the bond itself is on the way from the bonding agent. I will have it tomorrow morning at 9. When I get it signed, I'll bring it in here and give it to Paul.
We might, we're inclined to grant this, you might go ahead and just note both conditions, and the first one be satisfied since we don't have it in front of us. Is there any further questions? Mr. Wilkerson? Don, is there a motion to approve subject to those 2 conditions?
So moved. Second.
Further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Anyone from the audience wish to address us? Donna?
First item that legal department has is you are the landlord to a lease with PNC, the bank that is in this building. Under the terms of their lease, they had a certain period near the expiry of their lease, a 30-day period, to exercise their option to renew, and they wanted a 30-day extension on that time from June 30th, 2024 to July 31st, 2024 to act on that. And it was approved by your city controller, and so we request that you ratify that extension and that letter notifying PNC that they are extending that option to renew an additional 30 days.
Was it just a matter of not being able to get it done within the 30 days? Or is there?
We're negotiating with them on some items regarding the parking area out here, some of the common areas. And so Chuck's working on that negotiation with them, so it's taking a little longer than intended.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Second item we have is the approval of the written documentation memorialization of the waiver that you approved at your June 30th meeting. It was for a waiver for a Mr. Eddie L. Cross at 1 South Middle Street regarding the parking of his camper hauler in his driveway. You granted that waiver under section 8-30 of municipal code to approve the written memorialization of that waiver approval and direct that it be filed with the city clerk.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? I think we all will sign the waiver form officially. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Very much.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Sean. City engineer, Mark.
Yes, first item I have tonight is the easement encroachment request docket. We have 3 easement encroachment requests. The 2 of which are fence encroachments. Staff has no issue and would recommend approval of those 2 fence encroachments with our typical conditions. I can go to those in more detail if you would like. The remaining encroachment easement, encroachment 2024-013 at 1977 Saratoga Drive is a request to encroach into a drainage utility easement with a pool. They're going to be, the plans state at least 1 foot into the drainage utility easement. We're worried it's going to be more than 1 foot. It's not the pool itself, it's the retaining wall around the pool. Some more background on this. They did pull a permit for the pool, their building department. The original plans that were included with that permit did not show an encroachment into the easement because we would have caught it at that time upon review of the building permit. Upon construction in the field, they have built the pool in the wrong space or a different size. I'm not quite sure what happened, but it now encroaches into an easement. One of our building inspectors caught it when they're out in the field doing inspection work, and we've had them go through the encroachment process. Because it is a permanent structure in a drainage utility easement, we are recommending a denial of this request.
And the pool is already constructed.
Under construction, it's not yet complete.
Is it I assume it's an in-ground pool.
Yes, my understanding is partially in ground, but it's gonna be partial retaining wall up against it, so at least part of it will be higher than ground level. That might just be due to the elevation of the earth.
So tell me again, the pool does not encroach with the,
It does encroach.
okay,
Well, I'm sorry, my understanding is the actual body of water of the pool would not be with the drainage utility easement. There is a section that would include a pool deck and a retaining wall that would extend beyond the edge of the pool.
Are you wishing to address this?
I could if you had any questions about it.
What's your name?
My name is Ed Furshawn. I represent the pool company and the homeowners.
Okay. So Mark, what you're telling us is the total construction, maybe not the water area, but the total construction encroaches into the easement.
Correct.
How far along is this?
The pool is in the ground. We got our bonding done, and when we measured for the 3 foot of concrete, that's when we realized we were over the limit a little bit farther than we thought the pool would be. We wanted to cut the concrete down to only 2 foot and not get to the easement at all, but we were told by the inspector we had to have 3 feet of bonding grid on the ground, which would extend us about 6 to 8 inches into the easement. So our plan was to build a wall where the concrete actually sits on top of the wall, so nothing goes further than about 8 to 12 inches into the easement.
Mark? What's your recommendation? I mean, you've asked to be denied.
It's a denial, yeah.
And what is if you follow that recommendation, what do we do next? What does the city do? Red tag it, essentially?
I think they would have to remove it under the existing building permit and build it for plans or rebuild it so it's not encroaching the easement.
And the original building permit was not specific enough, or this?
My understanding from our building commissioner is the original building permit did not show any encroachment into the easement. So I don't know if it was constructed wider, if you misplaced it
It
during
was
construction.
a matter of, measurements on a paper compared to true measurements when we laid the pool out. We showed it going right to the easement, and we were off by, like I said, about 6 inches. And the wall itself is not a permanent structure, so if they needed to get it, that wall could be disassembled and taken out.
Once it constructed?
We were gonna do one of 2 ways, either a block wall or do a monolithic concrete pour where it came down on the side of where the wall kind of held it up.
So it's concrete blocks or concrete pour, I mean.
Yeah, we would probably do the blocks
Not
to be not permanent.
easily. Well, let's, if you guys don't mind, let's talk about the fences first. Those are on Sun Gold Trail and Wildflower Lane. Those have both been recommended for approval by TDS. Is there a motion to approve those 2 requests?
so moved. Second.
Okay, so we'll mark that as approved. Now, what's the pleasure of the board with respect to the issue before us on the approach by the pool?
Kind of seems to me like there should be some kind of remedy other than just taking the whole pool out. Since we're deciding we should begin with, but
But the confusion wasn't ours, was it?
It's not on our end, no.
We issued a permit and the construction was not. Understand that.
Yeah, in the memo we did provide some recommendations if you were to consider an encroachment approval. Some of the typical ones we see a lot with fences, the encroachment should be constructed to allow for adequate drainage. And if it is determined by the engineering division or the stormwater department that the drainage issue has been created, then the property owner would be responsible for correct said drainage issue. Should any work within any within the easement be necessary by any utilities or the city, the property owner would be responsible for removal and replacement of the retaining wall at their sole expense, and the property owner further holds harmless utilities in the city of Greenwood for any damage to said encroachment. The 811 be called prior to installing anything in the encroachment so that various utilities can be identified. And then the last one is a little different. We want to see design calculations provided by a licensed engineer to determine what effect, if any, this encroachment would have in capacity in regards to the capacity of the drainage.
So it's encroaching 6 inches into the.
That's how he's described it. I was told 1 foot.
That would be the max. When we measured it, I measured it with the inspector and he said we needed to go about another 6 inches.
Tell me again, the code requirement for bonding.
The
that
bonding
requires
grid
3
is
foot.
supposed to be 36 inches around the pool. And that's where we are too far. The bonding grid from the cover box out is 3 feet. And our easement is like 2'6". And I asked him if we could turn and bend the metal, and he said no, that it had to have a full 3 feet of concrete. If we could do 2.5 foot and bend the last 6 inches of grid, so it goes down into the concrete, we wouldn't even have to encroach. There's a swale back there, so where the water flows is 2.5 feet lower than the pool deck. So that will never be really affected with the drainage.
Trying to find a happy compromise
I
here.
understand.
So if you, and maybe I'm totally not thinking this correctly, but if we did come out 2'6", went down, and then when you reach the elevation of the ditch line back there, and then come back the other 6 inches, wouldn't that accomplish the same thing?
Well, if we could just turn the 6 inches down and pour the concrete 6 inches deep instead of the normal 4, we can encapsulate all that grit in the concrete pour and keep everything at the easement end.
Since you represent both the pool and the owner, you heard the potential conditions that Mr. St. John read. Do you have any problems with any of those?
No, they're aware that, you know, if anything had to come out, they would be responsible for it. But if we were allowed to bend the grid and pour thicker concrete there and keep the grid within it, I don't think we'll cross the easement at all.
Now, speaking from engineering CDS representative, I'm not sure what, I think probably referencing building code, when you talk about code, and I'm not an expert in that, so I couldn't speak to.
I'm not
if that's
familiar with this
acceptable or not.
particular requirement either.
Swimming pool has a specific code under state law, swimming pool code.
And you believe you can, with this bending it down, you can still comply with the state code or whatever.
The state code says 3 foot of bonding grid. It doesn't say it needs to be perfectly horizontal. It states 3 foot of bonding grid.
You need the building commissioner to come
Well,
and maybe
yeah, I
explain.
think I'm inclined to, I know you want an answer right away on this, but you can approach the state building commissioner and get a ruling from them.
Right. We were hoping for the encroachment easement
Yeah.
as the first alternative.
Right.
Because it really won't affect the drainage in that area at all, none whatsoever.
Well, I guess
I understand that too.
I'm leaning towards allowing them to do the bend down, but that's not our. If you can get a waiver of that, I'd be more inclined to grant it with these conditions. How long was it? Anybody know how long it takes to get?
Yeah, I don't know, the homeowner has been in limbo with a pool full of water for 6 weeks now,
It's pretty hot.
trying to get things wrapped up for them.
Yeah, I have no idea the state process, how long if you went and tried to get
I wouldn't
It
think it
can
would
take
take
a
a while.
while.
I would think. it
Nothing
would
that the
take
state
like-
moves quickly.
Yeah.
They obviously have a lot of money invested in it already.
I would add for the board too, from our building commissioner, I was informed that after the original permit was pulled, The subsequent required inspections required with that permit were not requested or ongoing. So I understand it's been 6 weeks, the homeowners were sitting with a pool. Part of that is, again, that's not necessarily the city of Greenwood's fault.
Right.
So the issue is that you have to have 3 foot walk around beside the pool.
I think
No,
the issue is actually the amount of the steel inside of that concrete pool.
Oh, okay.
And the pool is a fiberglass pool, so the only thing we're bonding is the metal coping.
So typically that's done with a bonding wire.
Yeah, there's the grid and then there's a wire that attaches to the grid and it goes back to the pool equipment and gets grounded.
I would yield to your
Well, I'm not,
expertise on that.
I understand the bonding and, but I was not aware of the 3 foot. So I wouldn't be able to comment on that. I wouldn't say that bonding of pools is critical. You don't want people electrocuted into the pool.
And I've been in this 46 years and I've seen many pools with just 2 feet of concrete and the grid literally cut off. Not that we did it, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
And it still bonds the pool perfectly.
If that's a direction you're considering, my recommendation would be that the building commissioner will want that.
That sounds good.
Or either the city of approval of the city of Greenwood building commissioner or the state building commissioner, if he wants to appeal it and have our ruling superseded.
Is there a motion to continue this consideration of this matter and ask the petitioner to submit this to the Greenwood Building Commissioner for his comment and turn to us with consideration? I mean, what are we asking the building commissioner to do?
I think if the building commissioner would approve the lesser bonding length, there would be no need to return to this board. Because then they
It's
would
maybe
not have to
subject to
approach.
the building commissioner's approval.
I would think you could deny this request and tell them to seek the permission of the building commissioner, the state building commissioner. Or table it, that's how you so choose, in case that comes back on paper.
Guess I would table or continue it. And give them give an opportunity, you know what we're thinking and what we're concerned about, and if you can get to the building commissioner to approve the bonding as you have it, we would take that.
So I would need to contact the commissioner and make an appointment with them.
Yes, who's your building inspector? Was it Aaron Crew or Matt Correa?
Aaron?
Okay.
Yeah, no, my name is first name, I think was Aaron.
Okay, so Ken Seal is the building commissioner, he's Aaron's boss.
I'm sorry, what was
Ken
that?
Seal is the building commissioner, Aaron works for him. You could ask for further interpretation from him. And it sounds like through Mr. Coleman, there's a process through the state to appeal local building commissioner.
And you said it was Ken still?
Ken Seal.
So I'll make that motion to continue this for that process to work itself
And
out.
then if he does approve it, I assume I get something in writing, do we resubmit it to you guys or?
If it's approved, you don't need to encroach into the easement, you don't need to return to the board of works, right?
Okay. Thank you for your time.
If he turns it down, then we just continued it, so then you can come back.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So on our docket, with that, we
I just marked it as continued.
We'll sign it. Okay. Mark. Mark, the next item is the sewer rehab project.
Yes, so the sanitation utility procured bids for a 2024 sewer rehabilitation project. There were 7 bids that were received for this project that were opened on June 6, 2024. The recommendation is to have. I know Shauna has some additional insight on this. There
I
were some
do.
issues with.
The first 2 apparent lowest bidders, the legal department reviewed their bids and considered them not responsive because they had some missing documentations that were to be attached with the bid. The first bid, the lowest apparent bidder, I believe that was Insight Pipe. They failed to provide the drug testing plan certification that was to go with their copy of their drug testing plan. And they also did not provide a letter from the surety that committed to providing the required performance bond and payment bond if they were awarded the contract. And then the second lowest apparent bidder was SAK Construction LLC. Also had some deficiencies and were deemed non-responsive. One, their Form 96 was not complete because they did not provide and identify subcontractors they had used in the past 5 years. Secondly, also did not provide a letter from the surety of the intent to provide the required bonds, and also failed to provide the drug testing plan certification that was to be submitted with the copy of the written plan for drug testing. But the third lowest bidder did have all of the documentation and was responsive.
That's Inliner Solutions, correct?
Correct.
Well, I'll move that you find that Inside Pipe Contracting LLC and SAK Construction LLC did not fully comply, so they were not a responsive bidder to the proposal, and that Inliner Solutions LLC is the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, and that we award the product, award the contract to Inliner Solutions LLC.
I'll second the question.
Questions?
Keith, have we worked with them before?
No, haven't. A lot of recommendations from others that have used it, they got good results.
Okay.
Pretty
So we can make a condition that Keith stays on employment
I
with
think
the
that's a good idea.
city through the duration of this project. And his retirement would be delayed by
However long that
takes. That's what I heard. I mean, my hearing's a little off, but that's what I heard.
6 years.
For those of you who don't know, Mr. Meyer is retiring in just a couple of weeks after 4 years of service to the city, and so we so appreciate his efforts helping us. I've been doing Board of Works for 30+ years, and always relied upon Keith's good wisdom and counsel. We thank you. Now, there's a motion on the floor, and there's a second. Any further discussion? And then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. So you got to be in our last.
You can still come if you want to.
I'm sure you will, you know how.
Quite entertaining.
And Mark, that's all you have?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Wright, anything from your office?
Nothing for me.
Okay.
I would move for approval of the claims as presented.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your evening.
Adjourn.